There comes a moment when the storms finally pass, and you look back at your life and realize that nothing was a coincidence. Every heartbreak, every delay, every unanswered prayer was never working against you. It was leading you somewhere higher, somewhere closer, somewhere back to Allah. You begin to see that the pain that once made you question everything was actually the path to everything you were searching for. The people who left, the things you lost, the moments that broke you, they were all part of a divine plan written with mercy. Because sometimes, before Allah elevates you, He empties you. Sometimes, before He gives you peace, He teaches you patience. This is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your return. The return to the place your soul has always belonged. Stop scrolling. Take a breath. These words have found you for a reason. Nothing in this universe happens by accident, and if you are hearing this right now, it means something deep within you has been chosen to awaken. Every heart has a moment when the veil begins to lift, when the noise of the world fades just enough for the soul to whisper, "Come back." Ibn Arabi once said, "When Allah loves a servant, He awakens their heart through signs others overlook." This moment is one of those signs. You may have felt a quiet emptiness growing inside you, a longing you cannot name, a feeling that life must mean more than the constant chase for things that never fill you. That longing is not weakness. It is the first spark of remembrance. Allah is not distant from you. He has always been near, waiting for the moment your heart turns toward Him again. Maybe you've been through heartbreak, silence, confusion, or loss. Yet even in your lowest point, something kept you listening, searching, hoping. That something is the call of your soul, the part of you that still remembers its origin, its purpose, its beloved. This message did not appear by chance. It was sent to remind you that you are being guided. Allah calls each heart differently. For some, it's through pain. For others, it's through peace. But for you, right now, it's through these words. So pause, reflect, and recognize this truth. You are being called home, not by me, not by coincidence, but by the one who created you. You've felt it before, haven't you? That strange ache in your chest that appears even when life seems fine on the surface. You laugh with others, you work, you scroll, you pretend you're okay, yet somewhere deep inside, something feels missing. That emptiness isn't a curse, it's a message. It's Allah calling you through silence. Many people run from that feeling, trying to drown it out with noise, entertainment, or temporary happiness. But it always returns, stronger each time. That's because it's not the kind of loneliness the world can fill, it's the soul yearning for its creator. Ibn Arabi said, "The one who feels alone is being invited to meet the alone." Think about that. Your loneliness is not a punishment. It's a sacred signal that you are being guided inward, back to the place where your heart truly belongs. Every moment you feel isolated or unseen is an opening for remembrance. Allah sometimes removes people from your path, not to harm you, but to draw you closer to Him. The quiet moments you fear are the very moments He enters. When the world turns its back, when no one understands, that's when Allah is closest. He hides you so that He can heal you. You are not being forgotten. You are being found. The ache you feel is love in disguise, the gentle pull of the divine reminding you that you were never meant to depend on the world for peace. Your loneliness is the beginning of your return, a whisper from eternity saying, "Come back to me." There comes a moment when the world you once trusted begins to crumble. The people you relied on grow distant. The plans you made collapse. And the things that once brought joy suddenly lose their meaning. It feels as if life is pulling everything away from you. But what if that is not destruction? What if it is mercy? When Allah calls a heart closer, He begins by showing what is not real, what was never meant to last. The friendships that fade, the dreams that die, the disappointments that break you. They are not punishments. they are lessons. Ibn Arabi said, "When the truth of something is revealed, its illusion must first die. You cannot see light until the false shadows are gone." Through every heartbreak and failure, Allah is uncovering your deeper self, teaching you to see beyond appearances. When everything you once leaned on falls apart, you are left with one choice: to lean on Him. It is in those quiet, uncertain moments that your soul begins to awaken. You start to realize that peace was never in people, things, or outcomes. It was always in remembrance. The veil that once blinded you begins to lift. And for the first time, you start to see life not as chaos, but as guidance. What once felt like loss begins to feel like direction. Every ending becomes a sign. Every silence becomes a message. And in that awakening, you understand, Allah was never taking from you. He was freeing you from everything that stood between you and Him. When Allah begins to draw you closer, the journey rarely feels gentle. The path of awakening is not paved with ease, but with tests that shake the very core of your being. You may find yourself questioning everything: your plans, your worth, your direction. You may pray and feel silence in return. You may give your best and still face rejection. You may cry out in desperation and wonder why Allah does not respond. But what you must understand is this: silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every storm that comes your way is a test not to break you, but to strengthen the roots of your faith. Ibn Arabi said, "The fire of trial is not to burn you, but to reveal your gold. Gold cannot shine unless it is purified, and your heart cannot shine unless it is tested." At first, these tests feel cruel. You wonder why the path to light is so full of darkness. But that is how faith grows, not in comfort, but in surrender. When Allah loves a servant, He refines them through hardship, so that their love for Him becomes pure, unshakable, and sincere. You see, anyone can say, "I believe," when life is easy. But true belief is proven when you stand firm in the middle of chaos, when you trust even when you cannot see. It is in the moments when everything seems lost that Allah asks the silent question, "Do you still trust me?" Every trial whispers that same question, and every act of patience is your answer. In this qadid, and every act of patience, sometimes Allah removes what you love most, not to hurt you, but to teach you where real love belongs. He delays what you desire so you can desire Him more deeply. He lets you fall, not to destroy you, but to remind you who lifts you. The Prophet Ibrahim was tested with the sacrifice of his son, yet, in that test, was hidden the greatest mercy. Yusuf was thrown into a well, betrayed by his brothers. Yet in that betrayal was written his rise. Tests are not a sign that Allah has turned away. They are signs that He is investing in your soul. The closer He wants you, the more He will test you, because purification always comes before elevation. So when you face hardship, don't rush to escape it. Sit within it. Ask yourself, what is Allah trying to show me here? Maybe He is teaching you patience, or humility, or the strength to let go. Maybe He is reminding you that you are not in control, and that control itself is an illusion. In every trial, there is a hidden lesson wrapped in pain, and when you uncover it, you find peace. Ibn Arabi said, "The pain you feel is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. The more it breaks, the clearer you see. You will notice that with each hardship, your prayers become more sincere, your heart becomes softer, your gratitude deeper. You start realizing that what once seemed unbearable became the reason for your transformation. The test that made you cry also made you kneel. The moment that broke you also brought you closer to Allah. Nothing was wasted. The same wound that hurt you became the doorway to His mercy. That is the secret behind every difficulty. It is not a wall, it is a bridge. So when life tests you again, don't ask, why me? Instead, say, Ya Allah, guide me through this. Remember that faith is not proven by how loudly you believe when everything is good. It is proven by how quietly you trust when everything falls apart. You are not being punished. You are being prepared for wisdom, for peace, for nearness. Because the heart that has walked through pain with patience becomes a heart that Allah Himself holds dear. And when you finally understand that truth, you stop fearing the tests and start thanking Allah for choosing you strong enough to endure them. There comes a time in every seeker's journey when the night feels endless. You look around and see nothing but silence and shadow. The prayers you once recited with hope now fall from your lips with fatigue. The world seems cold, and even your heart feels distant from the peace it used to know. You start to wonder if Allah has forgotten you, if perhaps you've been left behind in the dark. But here is the truth. The awakened hearts come to know. Darkness is not the absence of Allah. It is the place where He begins His work within you. Just as the seed must be buried in soil before it can rise into light, your soul must pass through darkness to be reborn. The night does not hide you. It protects you while you grow. Ibn Arabi taught that the heart becomes a mirror only after it has been polished by pain. Every hardship you endure, every tear you shed, is polishing your heart, removing the dust of pride, fear, and illusion. It may hurt, but what is revealed through that pain is something priceless clarity. You begin to see who you truly are and who has been guiding you all along. The loneliness you once feared becomes sacred. The silence that frightened you becomes your teacher. Because in that silence, you finally stop hearing the noise of the world and begin to hear the whisper of your Creator. The darkness you face is not punishment, it is purification. When Allah wants to bring you closer, He first removes everything that blocks your sight. He hides you from people, from distractions, even from yourself, so that your heart has nowhere to turn except toward Him. You may feel unseen, but it is in being unseen that you are truly seen. He watches you in the quiet hours when no one else does. When you raise your hands with trembling hope, when you whisper, Ya Allah, with a voice that barely holds together. These are the moments when your connection to Him becomes real, not out of comfort, but out of need. And that need is beautiful, because it humbles the heart and fills it with remembrance. When you look back later, you'll realize that the moments you thought were breaking you were actually shaping you. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every night you cried yourself to sleep. All of them were part of your return. The pain softened you, the silence matured you, the solitude taught you to listen, and slowly, without even realizing it, you became a different person, more patient, more grateful, more connected to Allah than ever before. That transformation could not have happened in the light. It required the wisdom of the dark. Remember that dawn is born only after the darkest hour. The night of your soul is not a dead end. It is the womb of your awakening. The Prophet himself found revelation in the cave, in solitude, surrounded by stillness and night. So too, are you being called into your own cave of reflection, not to suffer, but to see. You are being invited to rediscover the light that has always lived within you, the light that trials cannot extinguish, that sorrow cannot crush. Allah placed that light in you before you were even born, and no darkness can take it away. So when you find yourself surrounded by shadows, don't run, be still. Let the darkness speak its wisdom. Listen for the quiet assurance that says, I am here, because that is Allah, closer to you than your own breath, guiding you through what feels like an ending but is truly a beginning. One day you will understand that the darkness was never against you, it was working for you. It was never there to consume you, it was sent to cleanse you. Every night has its purpose, every silence its meaning. And when the dawn finally breaks, you will look back and realize that the light you were searching for was not out there somewhere. It was within you, all along, waiting for the night to reveal it. At some point in your journey, you will reach a moment when you have tried everything. You will have planned, prayed, struggled, and still found yourself facing walls that refuse to move. That is the moment when surrender begins, not as defeat, but as the awakening of true faith. The human heart clings to control. We think we know what is best for us. We chase outcomes, we build dreams, and when life takes them away, we break. But Allah does not take to harm. He takes to heal. He removes your grip from things that would destroy your soul in order to teach you how to hold on to Him instead. Surrender is not giving up. It is giving in to the divine flow, trusting that every delay, every detour, every unanswered prayer has meaning even if you cannot yet see it. In the beginning, surrender feels painful because it asks you to let go of everything familiar. You will be asked to release your attachments to people, plans, comfort, and certainty. You will stand between what was and what will be, not knowing what's next. But that uncertainty is sacred. It is the space where faith grows roots. Ibn Arabi said, "When the servant disappears in trust, only the beloved remains." When you finally stop resisting what Allah has written for you, you begin to taste peace that no circumstance can touch. True surrender does not mean you stop trying. It means you stop fighting the will of the one who knows better than you ever could. Think about the ocean. When you fight the waves, you drown. When you let yourself float, the water carries you. The waves of life are no different. Every time you resist Allah's decree, you exhaust yourself. But the moment you release control, you find that what once terrified you now carries you with gentle strength. You start to see how every heartbreak led you back to Him, how every delay shaped your patience, how every no was really a not yet. You begin to realize that Allah's plan was never to hurt you, it was to prepare you. Many people confuse surrender with weakness, but it is the opposite. It takes courage to trust when nothing makes sense. It takes strength to say, "Ya Allah, I trust you, even when I don't understand." Those words are not spoken by the weak, they are spoken by the awakened. Every prophet walked this path of surrender. Ibrahim, when asked to sacrifice his son. Musa, when he stood before the sea. Yusuf, when he was thrown into a prison for a crime he didn't commit. Each of them faced a moment when faith demanded they let go of control and rely solely on Allah. And every time, surrender opened a door that effort alone never could. When you surrender, the fear begins to fade. You realize that everything meant for you will find you, and what is not meant will pass. You stop begging the world for answers and start finding contentment in the silence. You stop asking, "Why me?" and begin saying, "Guide me." You stop running after people who don't see you and start walking with the one who never leaves you. The heart that once trembled in uncertainty now beats with calm trust, because it finally understands that Allah's plan is not random, it is precise, perfect, and personal. Surrender does not mean the storms will stop. It means you stop fearing them, because now you know who controls the wind. You may still feel pain, but it no longer owns you. You may still face loss, but you see meaning in it. You begin to notice small miracles, peace in solitude, lessons in struggle, mercy in every delay. What used to look like obstacles now look like signs. What used to make you cry now makes you grateful. You begin to live in flow with divine timing, no longer rushing or resisting, but allowing life to unfold with quiet trust. And in that trust, something miraculous happens. Your heart begins to lighten. The burdens you carried for years begin to fall away. You realize that your peace was never missing. It was buried under your resistance. When you finally surrender, you stop chasing what was never meant to stay, and what is truly meant for you comes naturally. This is the freedom Allah promises to those who trust Him completely. Not a life without hardship, but a heart unshaken by it. One day, you will look back at everything you fought so hard to control and smile at how unnecessary that struggle was. You will see that what you lost was never yours to keep, and what you gained was far greater faith, peace, and closeness to the one who never changes. Surrender is the final stage of love, where you stop demanding and start receiving. It is the moment the servant disappears and only the beloved remains. So if you are standing in that place right now, tired, uncertain, afraid, take a breath and let go. Say, Ya Allah, I trust your plan more than my fear. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to trust that He does. Because the moment you surrender, life stops being a battle and becomes a journey. And in that journey, you discover what Ibn Arabi and every true seeker came to know. That peace does not come from getting what you want, but from realizing that everything you truly need was with Allah all along. There comes a point on every spiritual path when everything that once felt confusing suddenly begins to make sense. You start to see how the pain, the waiting, the silence, and even the heartbreak were not separate events but threads of one divine tapestry, a story that was always guiding you back to Allah. You realize that nothing in your life was random. Every loss had a lesson, every delay had purpose, and every heartbreak was an opening. What once felt like punishment now looks like protection. The people who left were never meant to stay because their part in your journey was only to awaken something within you. The moments that broke you were not meant to destroy you but to break the shell that was hiding your light. When you finally see this, you understand that the return was never about going somewhere new. It was about coming back to what you always were. A soul created by Allah, sustained by Allah, and destined to return to Allah. You begin to remember that your story started with love. Before you were born, before your first breath, your soul stood before your Creator and said, yes. You said yes to life, yes to the tests, yes to the journey that would one day lead you home. But as you entered this world, the noise of life made you forget that promise. You got lost in chasing things that never truly mattered. Approval, success, love, control, all the illusions that the world offers as substitutes for peace. Yet Allah never stopped calling you. Even when you turned away, even when you forgot Him, He never forgot you. Ibn Arabi said, "None truly remembers Him except one who was first remembered by Him." That means the longing you feel for Allah is not something you created. It is His remembrance echoing within you. It is His invitation, quietly asking you to come back. When that realization settles in your heart, it changes how you see everything. You stop seeing yourself as unlucky or broken, and you start seeing yourself as guided. The tears you cried were not signs of weakness. They were evidence of His mercy. The nights you spent questioning your purpose were not wasted. They were moments when your soul was learning how to listen. Every unanswered prayer begins to make sense, because now you see that what you asked for was too small compared to what Allah was preparing for you. Sometimes, He delays not to punish, but to perfect. Sometimes He takes away what you wanted to give you what you truly needed. And sometimes, He lets you fall apart just to show you that He is the only one who can rebuild you. Returning to Allah is not a dramatic moment of enlightenment. It is a quiet unfolding. It happens in the small, hidden acts, when you whisper His name in the dark, when you forgive someone who hurt you, when you let go of resentment, when you finally make peace with your past. It's when you realize that nothing you lost compares to what you found in His nearness. You stop needing the world to understand you, because the one who created you already does. You stop trying to prove your worth because your existence itself is proof of His mercy. You start walking lighter, not because life got easier, but because you finally stopped resisting what was always meant for you. Allah never promised that life would be easy, but He did promise that He would be near. Indeed, I am near, He tells us. And when that truth takes root in your heart, everything changes. You begin to see beauty even in your struggles, because you know that every hardship was written by the same hand that wrote your destiny with love. You understand that real strength is not found in controlling everything but in trusting Allah even when everything seems out of control. You begin to live with gratitude, not only for what you have, but for everything that brought you here. The return is not just about praying or remembering. It is about transforming, becoming the person your soul was created to be before the world taught you fear. Ibn Arabi said, "When the journey ends, the traveler finds that the path was within him all along." That is the essence of the return, realizing that what you were searching for outside was always inside. The peace, the love, the guidance, it was all within you, placed there by Allah from the very beginning. You just needed the storms to reveal it. You needed the loneliness to make space for His presence. You needed the silence to hear His voice. Every step you took away from Him was actually a step closer, because even your mistakes were written as part of your awakening. That is how vast His mercy is. He can turn even your detours into directions. Now you stand here, at the end of this journey, but also at the beginning of a new one. The journey of living with awareness, with love, with remembrance. You no longer chase signs because you have become one. You no longer ask for proof because you live as proof that Allah's guidance never misses its mark. You are the answered prayer of your own heart. You are the soul that wandered only to discover that it was never lost. Everything that happened, every pain, every delay, every tear, was Allah gently leading you back to this moment. So pause, breathe, reflect on how far you've come. Feel the quiet truth settling in your chest that you were never alone, not even for a second. He was with you when you were broken, when you were silent, when you thought you had nothing left. He was with you in your confusion and your calm. He is with you now, in this very breath. This is your return, not a return to perfection, but to connection, to remembrance, to love. And as you walk forward, carry this truth in your heart. The journey is not over. It never ends, because love never ends. Keep walking, keep remembering, keep answering that divine call. You don't need to search anymore. You have already found what your heart was looking for. Because if you are hearing these words, if you are feeling this stirring inside you, then know this with certainty: Allah is calling you closer. And this time, your soul is ready to answer. And now, as you stand here, not where you began, but somewhere deeper, wiser, and softer, you finally understand what it all meant. Every tear was a doorway. Every silence was a message. Every loss was a lesson preparing you to see what your eyes could not before. You were never abandoned. You were being refined. You were never forgotten. You were being chosen. Allah was not distant. He was drawing you closer, step by step, through the very things you thought would destroy you. Now your heart knows. Peace is not found in the world. It is found in surrender. Strength is not in holding on. It is in trusting His will. You are not who you used to be. You are who He was shaping you to become. So walk forward with calm certainty, because the same one who carried you through the darkness will guide you through the light. Your return is not over. It has only just begun.